Result number 3. Educational toolkits for healthy urban planning and urban participation. Public art presentation. What is it about? Public art presentation provides a sensorial representation of the project results through public artworks, public art installation, public art events, and other artistic aids exposed or performed in public spaces, freely accessible to all. It could be of visual arts, performing arts, literature, music, film, digital art, street art, and so on. The display of public artworks enable viewers to ask questions about the project and benefits it can provide. Public art does not solve problems. For example, public art cannot alleviate the problems that climate change creates, but it makes problems more visible. It educates, sensitizes, and warns the public about the problem and thus motivate the public to take action. On the other hand, there are a variety of ways that art and culture can create positive impacts to public health. There are countless various possibilities for using a public art as a presentation of the project, but generally speaking, there are two types of use of public art for the purpose of presenting results. Public art installation for exhibition or event setting, and a public artwork that artistically illustrates the results of the project. Public art installation for holding an exhibition or event. This type of public artwork is designed and realized as an art installation with the specific purpose of holding an exhibition or event that presents the results of even non-artistic content. It can be realized as a scenography for an event or an exhibition display with the intention of enhancing the effects of the presentation by using art as a medium. It is temporary in nature but by its purpose and lasts as long as the presentation lasts. At the end of the presentation, the installation is dismantled. In special cases, the installation can be reused in all or in parts in different or on the same place, but only if it is designed in advance to be reused. Public artwork that artistically illustrates the results of the project. This type of public artwork is an original, unique work of art, especially designed and realized in the public space with the explicit intention of illustrating in a creative, artistic way the results that can be of a non-artistic character. It must be thematically specific by poetically reflecting the mission of the results it represents. It is also desirable that the work of art somehow reflects the local identity of the community in which it is created. It could be temporary or permanent. That kind of art is widely used for presentation of climate change effects and urban health matter all around the world. Who participates and how? Participants: students, teachers, researchers, stakeholders, citizens. Resources required: adequate public space, different tools, equipment and materials. Time required: duration, about 2 hours. The procedure for realizing both types of public art use for the purpose of presenting results, a public art installation as well as a public artwork, is more or less the same. Step 1. Conceiving. This step precedes the beginning of design and implementation. Permission. Given that the activity takes place in a public space, it is first necessary to check whether the local administration supports and allows this kind of action. This is the phase in which it is very important to first prepare the project proposal with as detailed as possible description of intentions, effects, participants, duration and phases of implementation, as well as the place of implementation and sources of financing of the project. With the project proposal prepared in this way, negotiations with the local administration are entered into. If the negotiations succeed, This phase ends with an agreement and results in obtaining an official permit to implement the project. If the negotiation fail, the project as a whole has no condition for implementation and is cancelled. Funding. At this step, it is first necessary to secure financing for the project. Stakeholders. It is necessary to carefully select, motivate and mobilize the key stakeholders and agree with them on the tasks, condition and dynamic of implementation. Expect delays in advance. Have a backup option for each of the work packages. Step 2. Design. During the design step, it is necessary to take into account the following issues. At first, what? What is presenting? What kind of arts will be used? What and how convert or translate from not artistic to artistic matter? At the very beginning of this step, it is strategically necessary to decide whether the public art will be permanent or temporary. This decision must be made together with all relevant actors, especially the public administration. Who? Who is the artist or the artists? Designer of designers? Professionals only, or participatory design with targeted stakeholders? To whom is addressing? Who is the audience? With whom is realizing? Level and scope of participation: citizens, kids, pupil, passing buyers, elderly people, local authorities, companies, NGOs, artists, workers, audience. Where? Public space. Open or close? Better open if possible. Site. Particular location in open space is very important matter. Site-specific art, if possible. Chosen public space should be freely and comfortably accessible to all. Physical characteristics of the space are also very important matter. Dimensions, configuration, occupation by vegetation or urban furniture, and so on. Sensory accessibility, internal and external visibility, and audibility are very important for the development of the event and are of crucial importance for the presence and behavior of the audience. Weather impact. It is necessary to count in advance the positive or negative impacts of different weather conditions on the planned activities: sun, rain, snow, wind, and so on. How? An official permission to display the presentation in a public space is mandatory before the start of the activity. Announcement. The event must be announced on time through information that is distributed among the participants and the audience in different ways. Use all the media at your disposal. Funding must be sufficient and absolutely transparent. Understanding context, thematic, spatial, and cultural. Thematic context refers to the project whose results are presented. Spatial and cultural context refers to the public space and community in which public art is displayed. When? Season. Think in advance about the seasonal condition that can be expected in the public space where the event is organized. Working or non-working days. The type of event and the expected target groups of participants and audience influence the decision on whether the event will be organized during working or non-working days. Holidays. During local holidays, the attention of local residents is focused on holiday matters, and it's very difficult to refocus their attention on the other events. For this reason, it is recommended to avoid holidays for organizing the events. Weather condition. This factor cannot be predicted with certainty before the event itself. Since the activities are planned in open space, the weather factor can play a crucial role in the realization of the event. For this reason, it is recommended to provide alternative implementation options in advance. Step 3. Realization. During the realization, it is necessary to take into account the following issues. What? Public art proposal. Present and discuss project proposal with all stakeholders. Be open-minded and accept critique if there are. Be ready to adapt the project according to prevailing opinion of stakeholders. Adaptation of the project. Present adapted project to stakeholders. After they accept it, it's ready for realization. Who? Participation. Motivate people to participate. Make the roles of the participants clear to everyone. Motivate them to act and conduct the activities kindly and patiently. Motivation. Make the participants proud to be part of the event. This is the best halo effect of the project and one of the best gifts that project can give to local community with such activities. The pride is echoing long after the activity is over. Where? Site. Check, secure and prepare location in advance, a day or two before the event should start. Alternative site. Provide and prepare an alternative site if necessary. How? Materials. The use of local materials and the local way of processing those materials is highly recommended because it directly and unequivocally celebrates the local identity. Tools. Avoid tools and machinery, especially heavy machinery. If necessary, use the simple local tools. Safety. Make all participants and audience feel comfortable and relaxed. Security. Given that the event is held in an open public space, it is necessary to take into account the possibility of unforeseen side effects that may affect the participants of the event from surroundings. For this reason, it is recommended to assign a couple of participants to discreetly take care of internal and external security. Organization. Anticipate everything in advance and be prepared for surprises. Be creative in planning, flexible in implementation, and objective in expectation. Time. Manage time carefully. Divide activities into successive phases between which provide time for the rest. Too long realization exhausts human resources, but also resources of time and money. Do not forget that interesting and entertaining events give a subjective feeling of shortening time. Phases. Carefully plan each phase of the implementation, especially the opening and closing ceremonies, because everything you promise at the opening must be fulfilled at the closing, and it would be good to give something more than promised joy, fun, pride. Think about time, participants, audience, equipment. Be creative. When? Date. Find a proper time, date, together with stakeholders. Option. Include alternatives in the process before realization starts. Schedule. Decide on the schedule together with all participants. Make the schedule so that it is easy for everyone to understand. Clearly explain the role for each of participants. Step 4. Dismantling or maintenance and monitoring effects. Depending on whether the event is permanent or temporary, the following should be taken into account. Maintenance. If the event lasts a long time, several days, weeks or months, or is permanent, it is necessary to think in advance about the maintenance of installations and equipment and to plan it adequately. Dismantling. If the event is temporary, it is necessary to plan in advance the dismantling of installation and equipment and the cleaning of the space. It is important that after the event we bring the site back to its original state in the same or better quality than it was before the event. Effects. Monitor and analyze effects, draw conclusions, share and verify findings with the community. Improve.